Welcome into Tech Talk right here on CNA 938 with me, Daniel Martin. As you're shopping increasingly online with online e-commerce booming, how many times have you had to type in certain keywords and then amend it and change it and find the right combination of keywords, especially if you're shopping for through online sites overseas, like in China and things like that? You got to get the right keywords just there. Guess what? Now you could snap a picture of the product with your smartphone and maybe search for identical or similar items in a matter of seconds. ViSenze is a Singapore-based artificial intelligence AI startup in partnership with Amazon Web Services. It's developed innovative visual search tools. Let's find out more with Brendan O'Shaughnessy, who is Chief Commercial Officer at ViSenze. Brendan, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's talk about that. In my introduction, I said we're really seeing a boom in the world of e-commerce. Shopping behaviors have changed as people have really gone online in droves. What's your opinion and insight into the change that we're seeing in shopper behavior?
Oh, thank you, Daniel. It's great to be here today. Look, there's been a very noticeable impact on shopping behaviors. I think generally we've seen a tremendous growth in e-commerce, and the view across the industry is that this increase is probably going to be permanent. In the first 6 months of 2020, the US market witnessed a 30% increase in e-commerce sales compared to the first half of 2019. And whilst in Singapore, Nielsen reported this year that 40% of consumers had increased their online purchases, and the majority of these consumers were expected to continue this level of e-commerce engagement in the future. So I think that's significant. And ViSenze had an early view of the impact of COVID on this trend. In late January, because we have clients across the world from China to Brazil, and we process hundreds of millions visual product searches every month, and a good percentage of those were in China, and there were some really clear early trends and behaviors which emerged.
I remember when e-commerce really took off a couple of years ago, I had to do many shows in terms of, how to make the right choice online, whether it's about reading reviews, doing your own research, checking in with the seller's status and things like that. What's the situation like today? How are consumers making their decisions for their purchases?
Well, I think the fact is it's very, very easy to research anything today before you buy. And it can be a passive thing. You can do it in your spare time when commuting or watching TV. And with the growth in online marketplaces and e-commerce, you can search for product and very quickly find it available in the right spec or color or size, or importantly, at the right price. So I think, consumer behavior has responded to the ease and simplicity of research today. And if this was difficult, this behavior would be less prevalent, but it's really, really easy. And, with our visual search capability, you touched upon it in your intro, it is as simple as pointing your phone at something to trigger a search for it and learn more. And, this has consequences for retailers as consumers become ever more selective and used to finding what they want quickly at the right price. It forces retailers to really reconsider how to make their products more discoverable in order to compete better for that consumer spending. So, knowing your consumer is getting more and more important, as is, I think, personalization. And Daniel, I think we can all expect an increasingly personalized experience in the years ahead. So as customers research online or self-serve through digital technology in-store, retailers really do have to find ways to learn more about consumers and use that to win more share of their wallet.
Let's zoom in on that and the message that lies ahead for the retailer, because like you said, we're researching in our free time. I've got a separate page open on my notes app where I keep links of reviews, and I'm research obsessed, maybe is the term that comes to mind. Why do you think the customer of today is so much like that, as opposed to the difference, of walking into a shopping center, seeing something you like and just going with an impulse buy?
Well, I think for consumers, there are always different reasons to buy, and impulse shopping has been around for a long time, will continue to be around in the future. But I think, we talked a little bit there about how research is just so easy. But I think in addition to researching more before consumers buy, consumers are also increasingly looking at new ways of being inspired. And in the past, that might have been predominantly walking through a mall, window shopping, spending an afternoon with the family, and seeing things that that powers that impulse buy, as you say. But over time, I think we're going to see more and more buying journeys starting at a point of digital inspiration. Places like Pinterest, Instagram, probably also platforms like TikTok or live streaming services. And digital research will be an additional step in that process. So I think for retailers, I think the challenge is if you have a consumer's attention, and that might not be in a physical store in the future, how do you keep them from continuing on their research stage and move them into the buying stage? And I think, with retail intelligence will be one of the key ways in which retailers do that. And that's the way they can, retailers and e-commerce providers can monitor price, availability data from their competitors, and hold the consumer's attention long enough to get them to purchase there and then without moving on and continuing down that research path. And I think if you combine that with personalization strategies, retailers will have a strong chance to convert.
Let's talk about visual commerce then. This idea, I take lots of photos of stuff that I see along the way just to remind myself, hey, add it to the list. Maybe you want to buy it. And then I always find myself going back, zooming in, trying to look at the exact wording of the branding and finding that online and making sure I've got the right seller and the right product and the right version. What's visual commerce about? Could I make use of that photo in a different way?
Well, you can. Well, look, visual commerce is a term that probably most consumers aren't aware of, and they don't really need to be. It's more of an industry term that encapsulates the range of ways in which consumers increasingly shop. So image-rich sites like Pinterest and Instagram, increasingly where shoppers are going to be inspired. And we're working with brands to help them incorporate these influencer images into their own digital domains, their websites and apps, and then linking them to retailers' product catalogs. And visual commerce also includes the growth of visual product searches. And that's where we come in predominantly, because we make it so easy for consumers to search for the products they want using their camera phone or a screenshot image. And we do that at massive scale because, we're the only company globally to have a visual search service integrated into 5 major smartphone brands. So for any of your listeners out there who have a Huawei, a Samsung, an Oppo, a Vivo, or an LG smartphone, they've already got the world's best visual search engine at their fingertips. And it's a really fast and accurate way to find products that might be hard to describe in a text search. And when our retail and e-commerce customers deploy visual search to their websites or their apps, it gets some results. They tend to see a 4 to 6x increase in purchase conversions. So it's very effective. Consumers love it, which is why it's growing in popularity all around the world.
This is something I want to zoom in on and find out more about and how it can benefit you and the e-retailer. What kind of messages and lessons are at play here? Brendan O'Shaughnessy is Chief Commercial Officer at ViSenze. We'll be right back on Tech Talk. Stay tuned. Heading off to the roads of Singapore, looking to an accident site on the MCE towards AYE before Marina Coastal Drive entrance. Avoid lane 3. Accident AYE to Tuas at Lower Delta Road exit, and accident BKE to Woodlands after the PIE entrance. Heavy traffic CTE to AYE at PIE's Changi exit, plus roadworks on Rocho Canal Road towards Saligi Road after Short Street. Avoid the right lane right now.
CNA 938 traffic, driven by LTA.
With 360 kilometers of rail lines ready by around 2030, we can soon explore more of Singapore via public transport.
Brendan, how do e-retailers take advantage of this experience of visual commerce? Do they have to make a lot of changes in their back end to be able to accommodate?
No, not really, Daniel. ViSenze visual AI solutions are all cloud-based. So for our customers, it's really simple. It's typically an API integration where they can take the core technology that we've already built, we'll configure it for their use. And for them, it's a very simple deployment to put it into a website, to add it to a search bar in a commerce website or in app, and really drive consumer engagement straight away. So, for us, we have customers right around the world. And for many of those customers, the hardest part is not integrating our technology. It's just the redesign that they might want to do on their domain to really just incorporate it, promote it, and make it a very core part of the customer experience. So very simple to do. We typically get customers live using our technology within a couple of weeks.
Is this primarily going to function through the smartphone best? I mean, what if somebody's more of a desktop kind of shopper?
Works right across every platform. So the beauty of visual search is it works whether you're on a desktop website, whether you've got your camera phone, whether you're using a camera lens on a camera phone, or whether you've downloaded an image or somebody's emails you an image of a cool product. Regardless of what channel you're on, wherever you have access to an image, you can use that image to trigger a search. So very, very user intuitive. We're all very visual in terms of how we engage with the world around us, and shopping is a really key part of that.
But accuracy has got to be a big point, right? You want to make sure that you get the right hits all the time. How good are we at efficacy here?
Very good. So the great news is ViSenze are renowned as a world leader in this technology. We work with some major global brands where we're generating accuracy levels in the range of 97, 98, 99%. So the beauty of what we do here as a Singapore company is, we're powered not just by great technology. We have a great team of data scientists and data engineers here behind us in Singapore, and they work very collaboratively with our customers right around the world. And we're talking major names in retail and e-commerce. And, really we work in a very partnership-oriented way to ensure that our technology is best optimized for our customers' engagement. And that might be, retail shopping, online shopping, and optimizing product discoverability through visual search. It might be through deploying visual recommendations, so really expanding the customer's awareness of what a retailer can sell. But, Daniel, we're also using it in environments where accuracy really, really matters. So that might be in an in-store experience where you can point your camera at a shoe and a product in store, and we'll recognize that almost 100% of the time, return product information there, and make it that self-service capability a reality for consumers today. So accuracy is very, very important, and I'm delighted to say that here at ViSenze we've really developed one of the world's most leading platforms in this era.
Let's talk a little bit about this, the quantum of the searches that will happen and what kind of tech is needed for that. As I understand it, it's about 1 billion searches per month across 900 retailers in 8 countries being processed. I mean, how do we make sure that we have the capability to deal with this kind of quantum?
Well, we're not far off 1 billion searches a month, and we are in many, many more countries around the world than 8. Look, our ability to deliver successfully at such scale, and you mentioned accuracy, and accuracy is one of the key metrics of success here. But our ability to deliver successfully at that scale, with that level of accuracy, is really down to a mix of, like I said, our data scientists or engineers, as well as the proprietary technology services that we've developed over 8 years. We were a company that was born in the cloud, which means from our earliest days, we leveraged cloud-based computing services at that time from AWS. And we process very, very large volumes of data every month. And because it's fundamentally image-based data, generating search results delivered to hundreds of millions of global consumers in real time, that does require a significant amount of computing power, storage, and obviously a very secure global infrastructure. So our technology to deliver this is a combination of AWS, compute, database, and AI services that underpin ViSenze's proprietary AI search algorithms. And we utilize AWS's global network to deliver a very low latency service to our global customer base, which is really, really important to them too.
Is this going to be the future of online search, maybe even altogether online shopping as well?
We do believe it is. We believe that visual search technology is still very much in the ascendancy. So text search today is still the predominant form of search that consumers are used to, but we're seeing rapid adoption in visual search, and it's helped by companies like ViSenze in partnership with the smartphone manufacturers, really making it readily available, putting it at people's fingertips so they can do it in any context, whether it's fashion, homeware, electronics, or any type of product you want to search for. We're there to provide a match. And I think what we're going to see is, you talked at the opening that, text search has its challenges, it has its shortcomings in terms of being able to describe the kind of product you want. And when we work with customers, it's one of the key problems they come to us about, because if they're not getting customers searching and landing on their website, they're losing out on that business. And what we're finding is visual AI technology that we bring to market helps in 2 ways. We're able to help customers create data for their products, which in turn they can use to increase the efficiency of their search. And then when customers are on their site, customers really do navigate to visual interactions. So whether that's at a first search or a secondary point of looking at search results and then using those images to filter and find similar products or complementary products to the ones they're looking for, we're seeing the growth in that become very, very strong, very, very fast, particularly this year.
Brendan, thank you for speaking to my listeners today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
Brendan O'Shaughnessy is Chief Commercial Officer at ViSenze. This has been Tech Talk. I'm Daniel Martin.